Prejudice, a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. Prejudice is a feeling that every human being feels. We are suspicious because we are all born inherently self-serving, self-justifying, and egoistic. Prejudice is hardwired into the brain. However, that does not mean prejudice is a good thing. In fact, while prejudice is hardwired into the brain also has control. It is up to us whether we want to further feel suspicious or leave it be. In fact, the prefrontal cortex is the cerebral cortex covering the front part of the frontal lobe. This brain region has been implicated in planning complex cognitive behavior, personality expression, decision making, and moderating social behaviors. The basic activity of this brain region is an orchestration of thoughts and actions in accordance with internal goals. The most typical psychological term for function carried out by the prefrontal cortex area is the ability to differentiate conflicting thoughts, determine what's good and bad, prediction of outcomes, and social control. A case study on Phineas Cage, a railroad construction foreman who survived an accident in which a large iron rod was driven completely through his head, destroying much of his brain left frontal lobe, and for that injuries of fact were reported that he had a sudden change in personality and behavior, effects that made his friends saw him as no longer Gage, a man who was once very patient and kind, turned 180 degrees and became a man who was very impulsive, violent, and impatient. Suspicion might seem like a small thing, however, it can be dangerous. A small thing such as a hoax to one person can affect the whole nation. This negative behavior can create a bad culture for the people of the nation and a buildup of envy and vengeance among the nation's children. One of the memories that God conveys to the believers is the command to stay away from prejudice because it is not based on truth, but on mere suspicion. Therefore, part of that prejudice is a sin or false. This assertion is conveyed by God in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 12.
O you who have believed, avoid much negative assumption. Indeed, some assumption is sin. And do not spy or backbite each other. Would one of you like to eat the flesh of his brother when dead? You would detest it, and fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is accepting of repentance and merciful.